Hey guys, as I'm sure you've noticed, I haven't uploaded a single video about the Terraria add-on in over 2 years. Pretend this stupid thing doesn't exist, please. This led plenty of you guys to, put politely, express concern for the add-on's progress. Since I haven't said anything about the add-on's status in forever, the details about its development are super murky, so I'm gonna give some long overdue clarifications. The Terraria add-on's development is currently crawling at a snail's pace, and even that analogy is pretty generous. There are a couple reasons for this, and the one that I think started this whole mess is the issues and blunders of the add-on system itself. I surprisingly never said this in other videos, so I will now. Ever since 1.18, it has been next to impossible to create custom biomes. The Caves and Cliffs update completely reworked Minecraft's terrain generation. I'm not even joking, they literally flipped the old process on its back, and then some. Of course, I'm happy that the world gen system is more sophisticated, but the add-on system's custom biomes weren't prepared for as big of a change as that. Consequently, the old way of creating custom biomes has broken, and still hasn't been fixed to this day. There's still ways to fake them, and I actually do know how to do that, but I figured that out for myself a year ago and only recently figured out how to optimize the system. Put simply, I still need to learn a lot more about the world gen system before I'll be confident enough to fix this really big issue. There are a couple similar problems, mainly that several methods the add-on system provides for custom blocks, items, and entities keep changing and or breaking, but the biomes problem is the biggest and most obvious one. To keep things easy to showcase for the YouTube videos, we structured development around general areas or categories of Terraria, like the pre-hard mode corruption or underground jungle, for example. This made it easier to showcase new content in upcoming videos, though in hindsight it was kind of a terrible way to organize things. But that's beside the point. Because this categorical structure depended on everything in said categories to function, it became a pretty big problem when the corruption biome just ceased to exist, especially because the Eater of Worlds was planned for the next showcase. We tried to work on smaller, trivial stuff while we waited for custom biomes to get fixed, but and still hasn't been fixed to this day. That evolved from a waiting game to sitting around, not knowing what to do while a core part of our next development phase lay in limbo. I tried a couple times to fix the biome problem by faking them, like I said earlier, but back then I didn't know nearly as much about World Gen, and yeah, my attempts basically stopped after this. After a while, many of us, myself included, got bored of waiting around and went off to do other things, whether that be schoolwork, other real-life responsibilities, other add-ons, or a combination of the three. Time went by, and we all forgot about the Terraria add-on for the most part. I would occasionally remember it existed, try to make a random system or two, lose interest, and go back to other stuff. This perpetual cycle has been happening for 2 years, so I'll sum it up real quick. Benji left a long time ago, actually. I'm pretty sure the cycle had nothing to do with it. Harem left about 10 months ago. He never said why, but based on the conversations we had and the way he talked leading up to his exit, it seemed like he was losing interest in the add-on and he was tired of not seeing any action. Lexart left more recently, maybe 5 months ago. His IRL responsibilities were piling up, and he just didn't have time for the add-on anymore. That leaves me and Agilis as the only official remaining members of the team, and Agilis, he hasn't said a single word in the dev server in over a year. He's probably forgotten he's still in the server, and honestly, who can blame him? So in short, the Terraria add-on's development hit a brick wall after 1.18, and most of the team trickled away due to boredom and or real-life responsibilities. Alright, just a heads up, this is the section where y'all go from sad to mad. I'm well aware the announcement I'm about to make is going to piss off a lot of you. Most of you. Maybe all of you. But I hope explaining my reasoning first will soften the blow a little. It's now late 2023. Script API has had a massive glow-up from its game test days, back when we actively worked on this add-on. We already have the basis of a camera command out of the experimental framework. World Gen features, finally, have been pushed to the stable framework. These past 2 years, we've seen some super exciting changes to the add-on system. Want me to remind you what's happened to the Terraria add-on? Nothing. Aside from a few small changes that never made it to a proper showcase video, and this, the Terraria add-on hasn't changed since summer 2021. I don't think it would be a stretch to say that if I were to pick up development again, the code would be so outdated it would be too much of a hassle to continue. Before I started anything new, I'd have to spend who knows how long updating the current content to match all the new formats, and swapping out old workaround systems for newer, optimized methods. Not only that, I've also learned a fair bit about making add-ons in the last 2 years. I guarantee a lot of the systems I made for the Terraria add-on would pale in comparison to how I'd make those same systems now. Whether or not you know where this is going, here it comes. I genuinely think I would be better off starting the whole thing over from scratch than trying to pick up where I left off with this old janky mess. There are several systems I've made these past couple years that, at the time of peak Terraria add-on development, I either thought were impossible or so difficult to implement it wouldn't be worth my time. Particularly the die system and player-based skybox come to mind, among several other rendering tricks and visual effects I've learned and created even after those two. Like I said earlier, I think it would actually be easier to add those systems onto a blank canvas, rather than trying to clean out the old files to make room for them. Alright, there you go. You mad? Probably. I know a lot of people were really excited to follow this add-on's development, and for most of them, I bet that was hard to hear. But don't click off the video yet. There's one more thing I want to talk about, and in my opinion, it's the most important part. I haven't actually explained why I stopped working on the Terraria add-on. Yes, the other reasons apply to me too, but there's one more thing that kept draining my motivation to continue. This thing could easily happen again, so to make sure it doesn't, I'm going to tell you why I make add-ons. It's nothing deep, and it's a simple answer really. I just want to have fun. I want to make whatever I think is cool because I find it cool. I'm not in it for marketplace work or commissions. Making a living from add-ons is not my plan. I'm gonna get some other kind of job. I started the Terraria add-on for fun. I wanted to see just how much of the game I could recreate. Mr. Devil and I made a couple things, got some more team members, and we made more systems. We had discussions about certain systems we thought we couldn't make. We figured out, despite those concerns, how to make those systems anyway. We were impressing each other with what we could do, we were creating cool stuff together, we were having fun. And then I made the mistake of uploading these YouTube videos. The era of impatient viewers had begun. These people did not care that we had lives of our own. All they wanted to see was progress. Progress. Nothing but progress. And when they didn't see the slightest hint of progress, this is when development stopped being fun. Now we were under constant pressure to show people something. It felt like people were forcing us to spend every waking moment of our lives working on this add-on. This, unsurprisingly, was not a quota we could maintain. In fact, the longer this went on, the less work I wanted to do. Funny how that works, right? Having a bunch of people whining to me because they want me to finish something, all while not considering that I'm a real person that has other things to do, it made me feel like crap. Anyway, I think I've made my point. So how will development go this time around? Well, here's the thing. Like my mostly former team, I'm not as invested in this add-on as I used to be. Life goes on, people. Heck, I may not even live in my current house this time next year. With everything that's happening in my life, I don't think I'd want to shift focus back to the Terraria add-on. So, I'm not going to. Like I said, this is all just for fun. Do I expect to finish the add-on at this point? Honestly? No, I really don't. But, and this is the important part, that is okay. I'm going to do my own thing. I'll probably still do add-ons from time to time as like a side hobby or something. And if I make a system that would fit somewhere in the add-on, I'll add it. I'm not going to do showcase videos. Those were stupid. If I showcase stuff on YouTube again, I'll probably do devlogs. You know, like 30-ish second videos focusing on one system. And only whenever I make something I find particularly cool. The thing is, I think the main problem was we hyped up the add-on too much and too quickly. So apart from the devlogs and maybe a couple screenshots for the Discord if I feel like it, I'm gonna go quiet on the development of the Terraria add-on. And that means y'all gotta stop pestering me about it, okay? Don't even think about when the next devlog will happen. From now on, actually, you're better off assuming that you won't see anything regarding this add-on. Don't waste your time asking an add-on dev for something he may never show. With this mindset, if a devlog does happen, and again, there is no guarantee that one will, it'll be a pleasant surprise, but it won't mean the add-on will get finished. It also doesn't mean there will be more devlogs after that. Am I dragging this out too much? Probably. Guess it's time to wrap this up. So to recap this whole thing, the team has basically left, custom biomes go bye-bye, lots of stuff has changed, I'm starting the add-on over from scratch, and its development is at the bottom of my priority list. I will be mostly silent about development so the project doesn't attract a lot of unnecessary hype, and last but not least, do not bother me about this add-on anymore. Okay, I think that's everything. We're good. I'm done here. Have a good day, everybody.